I'm so mad, man. I need to go over to his office. I need to throw the most random thing. He has a big giant pot. I'm throwing that. What do you think about that plan? Is that decent?
Who throws a pot? Honestly.
Happy Breaking Bad Day, everybody. My name is Adam
Breakdown
Daly,
of
almost
Breaking Bad.
sideways of podcast. What's going on? I am joined as always as Terry. See, I always change how I open stuff, so I don't put you in a routine. That's my bad. So
That's why I'm here, folks.
correct. But it's Breaking Bad Day. It's out for the sideshow. We're breaking it down once again. Episode 4 of season 3 called Green Light. This title reminded me of Mission Impossible Bubblegum. But anyway, red light, green light.
I like it.
Yeah. Terry, welcome back to the sideshow, man. Are you excited for this one?
Breakdown of Breaking Bad.
There, I actually got it in where no one was talking. That was good. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's always good when you can start with an Austin Powers reference. So it was good to get that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Who throws a shoe? Honestly. But no, this is a fun one because it's one where, I mean, you have those super intense episodes, and this one is just kind of, you see everyone start to play with each other a little bit and seeing how they're all going to interact and where it's going to go from here. And then you start to see some mind games start to be played too.
A lot of
It's some fun
puppeting
stuff.
going on with everybody. A lot of puppeting.
Mm-hmm.
They all try to play each other. And then they got the Matt Damon of the episode, Walter White, in here just like freaking out on everybody and flirting with people and just casual sexual harassment and, throwing stuff in offices and
Casual.
Yeah. He's on a sabbatical, more or less, indefinitely.
Indefinite sabbatical.
Yeah.
A
pretty fun episode, though, in store here. We'll be breaking it down. So I guess we should just kick it off with that synopsis, sir.
Let's do it. Season 3, episode 4 of Breaking Bad, entitled Green Light. Where to begin? There's so much that happens in this episode.
Yes.
Let's start with Walt. He freaks on Skylar over the whole IFTED thing. We know because Mike's bugs heard the argument. He busts into Ted's office demanding to talk to Ted, who is still sleeping with Skylar and wanting her to move in, by the way. So after the talk goes exactly how you'd expect it to go, Mike picks up Walt so Saul can tell him to knock it off. That's when Walt discovers he had been bugged. When Mike comes to remove the bugs, he sees the Salamanca cousins had returned and left a not-so-subtle message in chalk. A message Walt doesn't even realize has any meaning. He then is so out of sorts, he doesn't even realize he isn't teaching in his classroom. When Principal Carmen tries to talk to him about it, Walt puts a move on her. So he's fired. On his way out the door, he sees Jesse waiting for him. Jesse! He's been busy. He cooked his own batch of the blue stuff, and it's the bomb. He trades some of it for gas at a gas station on the way back into town, and he wants to sell the rest to Gus and make his own way without Walt. He asks Walt for help making the connection, which Walt refuses, and irrationally criticizes his batch simply because he didn't cook it. So Jesse goes to Saul, who goes to Mike, who goes to Gus, who doesn't work with junkies. However, when he hears that Jesse and Walt are Splitsville, he makes an exception. He takes Jesse's cook, but Jesse only gets half the cash for it. The rest is unwillingly given to Walt as his cut. Now, Hank. He gets dropped off at the airport to head off to El Paso, but you can tell his heart isn't in it. Right before he boards, he finds out the blue stuff is back. That little gas station exchange has been discovered by a few passes down the road. Hank's obsession with Heisenberg leads him back to the gas station, where all he gets is a generic description and that he was driving an RV. No security cameras in the place work, but the ATM still has a camera. In his goose chase, he finds a picture of the RV and is ready to hunt down all 29 of them in the state. But he has to give up El Paso to do it. he picks passing on the promotion to Hunt Heisenberg. So,
All right.
what do you think?
Okay, yes, the episode is Green Light. Yeah, we're going to be carried off in this episode, just like Walter White was. All right, my thoughts and takes on this episode so far. Very good episode, very strong outing. A lot of craziness does ensue here. We get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I think my favorite part, what worked really strongly, is we saw a lot of good interactions between our characters. Specifically, standouts for me are Jesse and Walter White haven't been on screen in forever, at least the finale it seems like, but not they haven't been shared a screen very much for a very long time. We see awesome interaction between Gus and Mike, and then we see an awesome fight sequence between Saul, Mr. Nobody versus Walter White, the man Heisenberg. So pretty awesome stuff there. And then Mike just kind of doing his crossword or his Sudoku or whatever. I loved it. And then we get a little ruffle, some sheet music, if you will, with some Skylar and Ted Beneke. But yeah, that stuff's not that great. But anyway, yeah, it's a really fun episode here. And there was so much going on. I kind of felt like Walter Jr. kind of like just making small talk conversation. So it's like, yeah, these eggs are good. Yeah, this is eggs. But there was no room on the plate for eggs. If you look at his plate, I don't know. Just saying, just throwing that out there. But anyway, the eggs probably were scrambled too. It looked like so, but good stuff. Good, solid, fun episode. Not the best episode, but there's so much going on that the potential for the next episode is going to be even better, I think.
Yeah, the award for the Han Solo Situation Normal Award goes to Walter Jr. for sure, because he's just like,
award.
the eggs
How are
good.
you?
How are you? So yeah, this is an episode where there's a lot of stuff going on, but not that much going on, and we have gotten to a point where in season 3, we know these characters now, and we're starting to get a lot more complicated of a plot. We're following a lot more characters. Like up to this point, we've been following Walt, we've been following Jesse, and that's about it. And that's been the extent of the plot and how that all works out. Now we're following Walt, we're following Jesse, we're following Skylar and Ted, we're following Gus, we're following Mike, we're following Saul, we're following Hank. They all have their own storylines. And
Maria's
now we're seeing
just wanting more.
And Maria's just left crying in the car. And so we're seeing how this web is all going to start to work itself and play together, and we're also seeing how the characters are playing with each other too, and who are the puppets and who are the puppet masters and who don't even realize they're puppets, and yeah, it's this is where you really start to see how this can become something even more moving forward.
A lot of different people that we're following, yeah, for sure. And that's a good point, because it's like we were only following a handful, like less than a handful of people. Now we're following almost like 10 people. Like it seems like there's a lot of people. A lot of people are invested.
But you never feel lost, because they waited until we knew who these people were.
Yeah, they built those characters up, and then they give them their ample amount of screen time there. The only people like we really don't have anything huge going on is Walter Jr. at the moment, Murray, and some other, I guess, stragglers there too. So
yeah, I find it interesting, and this was like an intentional thing that Vince Gilligan did, is that there is no like previously on Breaking Bad before any episode. And that's like an intentional thing. It's like you either know what's going on or you don't, and you need to watch so you know what's going on. Should we hop into this?
I would love to.
What is your best scene?
Oh, it's got to be at Saul's Law practice. Multiple scenes there. I love the one with him and Jesse. It's like, no, close the door. We're closed. Oh, hello. And he goes to the blue. It's like, oh, hi there.
You had to try and get him to start cooking again, and you didn't.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
he has like the Obi-Wan moment in like one of the Star Wars.
Hello there.
That's a pretty good one. But I like specifically like the one with Walt and Saul fighting. It's pretty ridiculous. Two crazy characters going at each other, and then just Mike just sitting there. It's like, okay, I'm gonna pick this grown man up
Just
to
picks him
my
up
knee.
and throws him.
Friggin' he squat basically do squats with Walt. That's crazy. Mike's extremely fit, mentally and physically,
That's
apparently.
my best scene is every now and then you get those moments where you realize, oh, Bryan Cranston is a really good slapstick comedian. And nothing shows that more in this episode
Pot of plant.
than than him talking to Ted. And he walks
There he
in.
is.
It's like, Ted, I can see you. You're just standing there. And then Skylar comes on. Walt, what the hell are you doing? I'm talking to Ted as he's carrying the pot over to the window. Like he had like last episode, it was Walt, what are you doing in there? I'm back. And this one, I'm talking to Ted. He just has these manic moments where you're like, oh yeah, he is really funny. That's a great one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. That was a great episode. Great moment of the episode that brings a little bit of crazy levity to him.
Ken wins douchebag. I'm gonna go first because it plays into what you were just talking about. Mine is Saul, because he is trying to file a class action lawsuit for emotional damage for anyone who witnessed the plane crash.
Yeah, it's a good
And
one.
yeah, like try getting the guy to try and figure out which neck brace is gonna make him feel comfortable, so he can show that he may have had a neck injury. He's cold calling people and asking if they had if
I'm not
any
asking if the
shrap.
engine's fallen. A nut, a bolt.
Yeah, not a bolt. Anything that we can claim caused you emotional distress, and everything else, but especially that. He's the douchebag of the episode, but he's just being Saul too. So can you blame him?
That's a good one. I actually didn't write that down, but I thought that was like the part of the funnier part of the episode. Is him making all those cold calls. It's kind of Walt in this episode partly.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
There's that. Like he's pretty odd. He's completely freaking out on everybody. He's just making casual like moves on Carmen all of a sudden, and it's like, oh well, if you paybacks sleeping with my principal, the boss. No, it's trying to sleep with his boss. It doesn't work that way. It's just it's a little creepier that way.
However, if you remember, I kind of hinted it, but I just kind of said something and let it be. There's a scene that we've already seen a few episodes ago on that same couch in Carmen's office where it kind of feels a little like she's coming on to him. And I hadn't noticed that before, that there was that scene where you kind of get the idea, I'm like, okay, she's kind of totally coming on to him a little bit there. And
That's a good point.
he just acts on it here because he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
The pink man, stick man.
Who do you think? Who do you have?
Who do I have? I have the pink man.
Oh, the pink man?
Because the way he sweet talks that cashier,
Oh yeah.
I mean, like that is sober Jesse. The way he can just like
He's got those blue eyes.
and just goes full on balls out. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get you to say yes, and I don't care that there's a cop behind me while I'm giving you meth.
What a player.
I mean, he sweet talks his way into that deal, and she can't help but say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
That's a
Jesse's
good
my
one.
stick man.
That's a good one. Almost as good as Saul's stepfather, who you got it on with his second ex-wife, Saul's stepdaddy.
That's a good call. That is a good call.
Yeah, it's Saul's stepdad for sure for me. That's just a good one. When he said that, I was like, yeah, and he probably sued his wife for doing so. Probably.
Oh. Now, neither of us said Ted, even though Ted is the only one that actually, has confirmed
No, yeah.
a confirmed moment in the episode. But again, I think it's more just
That's a
happenstance.
Skylar move. That's a Skylar move.
And him hiding in his office when Walt shows up it just like removes his. However, once again, he knows where his place is.
Behind his blinds.
Behind the blinds. That's my cue. I'm hiding. The best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo. I am gonna go first on this one, and I have to go with Mark Hansen playing the Burnout.
Oh, is that Russell?
I'm like 80% sure he has a mustache.
Yeah, good call.
Oh, Mel. The dude's name is Mel.
Or Mark.
Mark.
It's a must
I knew
sound.
it's an M name. It's gone. It's gone. And Hank's only response is, "I need a vasectomy."
He's probably like conservatively the best character that's just in for that one scene. Like conservatively one of the best characters for one scene.
He might be the best one scene character in the show so far.
Yeah.
And just the one scene, one off, you have a feeling you're never gonna see this guy. It's just so funny. And he's got such a distinct look to him. And to be that far like gone, you don't expect from a guy that looks like that. No, it's just beautiful. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, that's what I had down. I had him down too. Like he was awesome. I guess if we had to be something different, Kara, the gas station attendant, would be one that we could mention here too. But she's not a really good liar. Not the worst, but she's not really good.
The Gomi minor character of the episode.
Okay, I gotta go with the Secretary Margaret in this one because she is totally thinking everything we are as an audience member. Not a fan of you, Skylar. Not a fan of you. Just kind of like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna call security. Ted's busy.
And never has been. She just kind of has that face that you can just tell she doesn't like everybody. But yeah, she definitely does not like Skylar.
It's a resting bee face. Yeah,
it definitely is. Definitely. So my favorite minor character in this one, I am going with Asac Merkert, Hank's boss.
Oh yeah,
because that's another great scene where
you go to El Paso.
He knows what Hank's doing, and like, I mean, we talk about how this is the Gomi minor character, and one of the things we love about Gomi is that Gomi is one of the only people that can call Hank out on his crap,
and he does in this episode too.
And Merkert can do it too,
mm-hmm.
and he's just like, cut the crap, Hank. Are you leaving tonight or not?
Yeah.
And he tells it to him as plainly as he can. You can't talk your way out of this. I know you. Give me a yes or no right now.
Yeah, really good call. That's actually up there for one of the better scenes of the episode too. I would say. I go with anybody else. It's definitely had to be one of the better scenes. I just think he knows Hank so well. Just knows like, no, stop you can't stop bullshitting right now. You just gotta give me an answer. No, trying to walk. No. Tippy toe around this. You got to just tell me flat out what's going to happen, and this is what's going to be. You just got to do it.
Yep. Yeah. And he tries to talk his way around it, but he's like, nope. You got to give me a straight answer. You can't talk your way around this one. The cow house, dumbest thing said in this episode.
I smoke pot all the time, man. I party. From Cara,
all right, I wrote it down exactly because it's even better than that. She says, I smoke pot a lot sometimes.
Sometimes that's
like,
true. Yeah.
I smoke pot a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Are you a little tongue tied because you got a pretty boy looking at you there?
Yeah, that's why he's a stick man. That is a good point.
So I had that one written down. What else?
I gave a bunch of samples out. They said it was the bomb.
Funny. They said it was who junkies? Like, yeah, they would know.
Yeah, they would know. Eat me anytime, loser. Total. Regulate this. I was like, anytime, loser. That's what it reminded me of so much. Explaining what an open balloon in his rectum was. He was trying to convince me
that
was
what
Thai
I was just about to say. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Good.
Yeah,
and also like pulls out the ATM machine. I mean,
Hank
is good at his job.
He is, but this is could be a flaw in this episode. You think Jesse's that stupid to freaking pull out that crystal and not see that camera? He's
That's a
completely
good
clean and
point because
sober.
there
Like
is
you
that
think,
maybe he saw that there was no light on it, so it wasn't running.
but you're expecting Hank to not know that? If
I
Jesse
mean,
could pull
yeah,
that out, and
that's a good
Hank,
point. That's a good
yeah.
point. That's a good point.
So that's one thing I had thought about it, but it's like, ah, for the episode, it's pretty cool moment. It's like, oh, they're gonna catch
Mhm.
him. Oh no, they didn't, because already know that Jesse's been arrested by Hank. He's been interrogated to a few
Right.
last season.
He's
So
already been interrogated by him once.
yeah, so it's gonna be pretty crazy. And then when she gave up the RV, I was like, oh crap.
Hmm.
So
And then
it's
then
been
the
weird.
ATM
Yeah,
got the actual look of it, and he could tell it was riding light. I mean, Hank's good. Hank's
he's
good.
good.
Little detail in this episode I had forgotten about was at the end when Walt hears on the radio that Donald Margolis was taken to the hospital with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It's
Gunshot
like,
wound.
oh,
Yeah, heartbreaking.
oh. All right, so you
Heartbreaking.
started getting into some flaws or outdated things. Do you have any others besides no room on the plate for eggs and
Oh
how did Jesse
well.
not know the camera was there?
Uh, yeah. So that scene with Skylar and Margaret's a big flaw because is that how we do copies nowadays? We just leave the lid open. We don't close it. Like
My wife mentioned that too.
I was like, that's not how you do copies.
Not only that, but the other thing I noticed about it too is when you're doing copies now, it only scans the page once
Yeah, it doesn't
and
do it
then you
over.
make a whole bunch of yeah, you don't have to it doesn't like scan the page every time it makes a copy. And what's she making copies of? She's got the financial book on the copy machine. She making like 50 copies of the book? What is she doing? And
It's a
like
good point.
that whole scene is a little too fabricated.
Yeah, it's very
Um
to contrive like little scene. Yeah.
and yeah, and the whole etiquette around the copy machine. They really they needed Rob Schneider in there making copies. That's
Or
what they needed.
Tomster making copies, Mr. Tom.
I don't know if it's a flaw, but I had to look this up because I thought it was kind of odd. Hank is flying from Albuquerque to El Paso. Like, so, I mean, what kind of flight are we talking about? I looked, it's a 4-hour drive. So, I
so here to
mean,
Spokane, essentially.
yeah. It's like, yes, that would probably be a flight. Like, it'd be about an hour flight
Yeah,
ish.
there
So,
is a flight that goes from SeaTac to Spokane. It's like a 45-minute flight.
right. And or it
Yeah,
would be
it
like
could work.
Seattle to Portland. And
Yeah.
like people fly that, but people drive it too. So I was just like, wait, he's not driving to El Paso? It's not that far, and it's 4 hours. So
Hmm.
it was something I had to look up at least.
Appreciate you
So
did the homework on it.
that's why I'm here.
I think the biggest, most telling outdated thing of this whole episode, the gas with cigarettes, $79.
Yeah, to fill an entire RV.
He did 25 gallons of gas. My truck takes 25 gallons in my work truck. It's $110. Thank goodness I have a company card or gas card. That hurts the old wallet. And if I'm really
Uh-huh.
low, if I'm really riding dirty, 32 gallons to fill it up.
Midlife crisis moment.
Yeah, I think it's like not knowing your own strength because in your rage, you're like I'm gonna freaking do it. I'm gonna muscle this thing up. I've done that, man. You get into a project at home and it's just
Hmm.
not going well for you. Been dealing with some plumbing issues the last couple of days, so I've held my cool. I've held my cool. I'm not talking about this specific time, but before
Have to replace a water heater. Deal with some rot.
get rot. Well, yeah, clogged pipe. Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm.
So you're dealing with projects, and I said before you deal with projects, and you like it's just not going right for you. You're like I'm gonna freaking just lift up this entire like heavy thing that you should clearly says a 2-man lift or whatever. And you're just like ow, ow. I pulled a muscle, but the pride takes in. Yeah, he looked pretty silly. He's lifted up that big old pot, and then it did nothing. It just bounced off that window, which could be a flaw too. What is does Beneke think like he's gonna get like shot or something like that? Because it's like bulletproof glass. Like, how did that not break?
I mean, he is a manufacturer. He may
Oh,
have
yes.
he
Carbon.
may have had a connection.
Carbon.
All right, my midlife crisis moment, and I don't know if it's not necessarily midlife crisis, but definitely related to it. The idea of automatically, instantly hating someone else's work because you didn't do it. You just have that pride in, like I've had those moments where it's my way or the wrong way,
Mhm.
and even if it's good work, yeah, but that I didn't do it, so I'm gonna redo it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, even if I'll reinvent the wheel if it means it's mine, because then it's mine, and
Yeah.
I'm not using doing something that someone else did or using something that someone else did. Like, no, I need
My way or the
it's my way.
highway.
Yeah, I always say it's my way or the wrong way. That's how I always look at it.
Good one. It's also a midlife
Okay.
crisis thing to say for sure.
Yes. All right, LVP of the episode.
So my wife hasn't seen a couple episodes for a while now, and even she was like, "I don't like Skylar. Skylar's bad." Skylar and Ted, LVP. There's no way that guy can make. Never mind, that's bad. Skylar and Ted. Yeah, just and yeah, that whole scene is very awkward. I'm surprised they actually did the sounds and everything. It's like in front of all those kids, all his daughters' pictures in the bedroom too. A little awkward. I don't know. Skylar and Ted,
Yeah,
LVP.
that's a good call.
Because
My
right when Walter White busted into Beneke's office, you know everybody in that office, unless they're dumb or a new hire, you knew why he was there.
he was there
At
to
least
talk to
Margaret.
Ted.
Yeah. He was having
Yeah.
a TED talk. No, anyway.
It's a TED talk. That should have been your banner.
I just thought
this,
about it now.
this is my TED talk. All right, my LVP is Walt's boring life, because one of my favorite parts is there's that when he's playing with the cereal at the breakfast table, but no, another one of my favorite scenes is when Mike goes to remove the bugs, and Walt's like freaking out, it's like, you better take all of them, and Mike just looks at him very calmly and goes, first, these are $800 a piece. Second, you're not that interesting. I'll get them all.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
still love that Mike calls him Walter. He is the only one that calls him Walter. Like, either it's Walt or it's Walter White. It's Mr. White. It's Heisenberg. Mike is the only one. Walter, what are you doing? When he picks him up from Ted's place. Walter, get in the car.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. All right. MVP. So I'm gonna go next because my MVP is Mike.
Yeah,
I
that's
could
what I
have
got
said he
too.
was my
It's
minor
easy.
character. Yeah. My favorite line of the whole thing is when he's talking with Gus and he's like, "Will he live?" For a few years, barring acts of God and men with axes." All right, so we'll talk a little more about what's happening next, but first, let's keep us up to date on
Count.
our counts. The Walter White body count is at 2 drug dealers, 1 car, 1 custodian's career, 1 Tuco hideout, 1 lock, 1 uneaten burrito, 1 paper towel holder, 1 house full of rat, 1 back door to Jesse's house, 1 love of Jesse's life, a few burned $100 bills, 1 pepperoni pizza, and 1 career in education.
Yes.
And the Jesse ass kicked count remains at 7. So
He kicked some ass too. He destroyed a mug in that box.
oh yeah. No, this is like Jesse at his finest. Is this era Jesse? Like he has his moments, and this is definitely one of them.
I like it.
So Adam, what's coming next?
Oh, we're gonna get Heisenberg back. It's gonna be Heisenberg and Gus again. We're gonna actually see the man, the myth, the legend of Heisenberg there as well. we're gonna see some interrogations. I hope that Jesse was smart enough to put that van in somebody else's name. I cannot remember for the life of me if they ever said that, but it could be interesting if Hank does go down the road with about the van or the RV. I mean, I said van, but RV.
I think all they said was it was like the first episode, he bought
Mhm.
it for cash from a friend. I think that is all that
Oh, I
was
still
said.
probably haven't even changed. Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, it doesn't haven't even put. He's probably driving around without it registered in his name. Probably.
Because Walt went and got the money, the cash out of the bank, all his savings to give to Jesse to go buy the RV. Like
Mhm.
that's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't enough. It's like my buddy wanted this for it. Like that's all I got.
Oh, I got yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna get some cooking or something about that. He has to get like knock the rust off again, and he's also gonna be like, this guy sold something and it's not even my product, so they're gonna have to do some kind of cooking to like, this is actually the product that I made, so he can take a little bit of pride in it too. So he's definitely gonna be getting back into cooking, I think. And of course, even though he says he's charging him for a $300 suit, Saul's gonna get a better suit, and we're
Is
gonna
that suit
have
really a $300 suit? I don't know.
it
That
fell off
looked
a
like
truck. Probably.
got it at Goodwill, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
Value Village,
Inherited
something like that.
from his dead grandfather. I mean, no, you got some good thoughts. You got some good thoughts.
Pretty excited for the next one. I think some stuff's going to happen next week.
There's going to be some stuff. Yeah, we're only 4 episodes into the season.
That's right.
We got a ways to go. We got a ways to go. All right.
All right. Well, that's all I had. I forgot to close the episode, but yeah, we're going to close it here. Looking forward to next week's episode where we break down season 3, episode 5.
Breakdown of Breaking Bad.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Walter does next, and does Skylar and Ted have another session, and if there's something even better thrown at Ted. That's what the question we need to have answered. But looking forward to seeing some more cooking going on. Until next time, my name's Adam, and that's Terry.
Sit and spin.
I like how those 3 guys who threw him out was like, freaking asshole, and just walked back in. I'm like, if you only knew, you would do the same thing.
That's when he needed to bust out the regulate this one more time. That would have fit.
Anytime, loser.